So this is a really simple, mindful technique that can be done at any time that you are feeling some sort of negative emotion or any emotion you don't want to experience. And it doesn't have to be done seated with the eyes closed. You can be in the midst of doing other things and still do this practice. So what is it? Very simply, it is really honing in and attempting to describe in detail what it is you are experiencing internally. And so we want to describe it as vividly and descriptively as possible. And what is meant by that? So if, let's say we would just call it anxiety. It's like so just asking yourself, so what is it that I'm actually experiencing? And don't just say anxiety, because if you ask 7 different people, you'll get 7 different answers as to what anxiety is to them. So ask yourself, what is it? Like, how would I describe this to someone who has no idea what anxiety is? And then you may say, well, it feels like a knot in my chest. So what do I mean by that? It feels almost like within my heart, it feels like maybe a rattling engine. And in attempting to describe it in detail, we are in a way separating ourselves from it. We are starting to observe it, because oftentimes in these negative emotions, be it anxiety, be it anger, be it frustration, we are so enthralled, entangled in it that we can't see anything other than that. But when we allow curiosity to overtake us, what is this that I'm actually experiencing? And how would I describe it? And you may hear different practices to say, what color would you give it? What texture? What smell? And so we want to do as much as we can to, in a way, externalize it, in a way to allow it to not be us, so that we can, in a way, become the observer of the thing, not just purely enthralled and entangled and immersed in the experience. So having that experience is like, where do I feel it in my body? It's like I feel it here, and it's like, oh, and what else do I notice? I notice that I kind of clench my shoulders and my neck is tight. And it's like, oh, and I also notice that in the process, it has me thinking about, and then you can explain your thoughts. It has me thinking about this thing that happened 5 days ago. It has me thinking about this thing that happened 5 years ago. And just really describe in detail, just mentally having this within yourself of what you are experiencing. And notice how, in a way, you start to separate yourself from the thing, and you almost, again, disentangle, I think, is the best way to describe it, because we've all experienced being in some form of negative emotion, so entrapped in it that we can't see our way out of it. So in doing this practice, we very much we free ourselves. And what's even more powerful is if you have a notebook and do that written down, and then describe. It's like, okay, I feel this. And it's like, and now I'm thinking about this. And now my body is doing this. And now actually I feel it moving from my chest to my belly. And now I actually feel, almost like I have gas or something. I can just describe it in detail in that way. And you can do this with all emotions, even the positive ones. Of course, we want to be more entangled with the positive emotions, but still allow yourself to experience yourself observing the emotion. And the more you practice yourself observing that emotion and describing it in detail, you, in a way, kind of empower yourself, because you are now saying like, oh, I've experienced emotions before. This is just what I am experiencing. This just happens to be a part of life on planet Earth as a human being. And doing that, we, again, just see ourselves not as the emotion, not as enslaved to the emotion, but as an individual that experiences emotion. And this just so happens to be one I'm experiencing at the moment. And in my separation, I recognize that I am not enslaved to it. So that's that. I would say just give that a whirl and see what it does for you. You may be surprised. And again, if you have the chance to write it down, I would say notice the difference between purely like a mental exercise and then physically writing, because there will be a difference. And yeah, play with it. Make it your own. See what happens. And hope this serves you well. Talk to you soon. Cheers.